Now, welcome to the Tarot Jam. I'm very excited. Thank you everyone for joining us on the Tarot Jam. I was prompted by Michael, who is a member. Is he here? Yeah, you're here, Michael, who was he's a member of the Tarot Readers Academy. Who contacted me and said, you know, is there a chance we could do like a live event where we can all chat? And I was like, that is a really good idea. So we were bouncing around ideas, and I thought we'll try to do a tarot jam and see how that works out for everybody in our lovely community. So that's how that got started. I'm trying to see if this camera will like focus on my face. I'm over here and whatever. So as I mentioned to everyone before, if you start talking, it's going to record on you. This is a space where we all, can talk about tarot. Please don't make it so I'm sitting here talking to myself for an hour. This bitch has been talking all day. Other people join in. So we had a few questions about what people want to talk about, and there was some juicy stuff. So I feel, how about we do a bit of a roll call in the chat first? Where is everyone calling from? Where are all you fantastic peoples? Oh yeah, Connecticut, California, Aussie, Tennessee, Seattle, Miami, Virginia. Yeah, Vancouver, Portland, Calgary. I'll be seeing your face soon, Portland. Delaware, Texas, Calgary. What's up, Calgary? I've been to Calgary. Cool. And hi, Joan, from Ontario. So, and then adding on top of that, what would you say your experience is with tarot? Are you a student? Are you a professional reader? Are you somewhere in between? Are you just like a card slinger who just does this for, like, tell me a little bit about your kind of tarot experience, because I know some of you, pro-yo, love to read the cards for anyone and everyone. Just started my own business not too long ago. Much student, trying to go pro, student, want to be a reader, still learning. Cool, always a student, hashtag totally. Somewhere in between. Reading since I was 12, want to be pro, student, want to be a reader, student for life. Lots of very similar kind of, yeah. Learning through BD Tarot. No business, but read for my friends. Cool. I love that. Student tablet, Pennsylvania. So kill two birds with one stone and get that done with. Awesome. Alrighty, so I'm going to go to see what our next round of like getting to know you questions. What's your favorite deck? What are you guys working with right now? Tell me a little bit about your favorite deck. Always a student. First deck was 20 years ago. Cool. Rider-Waite, I'm boring. You're not boring. Shadowscapes. Everyday Witch Tarot. I'm still waiting for mine to arrive. Oh, New Orleans Tarot. It's a good one. Illuminati's Child Tarot is changing my life. Zirkus Magi. Druidcraft, Anna Kay. Oh my gosh, it's going so fast. Yeah, Tarot the Hidden Realm. Nice. Cool. Dreams of Gaia. Always Druidcraft. Morgan Greer. Oh, love Morgan Greer. Angel Tarot. Line Strider. Awakened Soul. Oh, stop it, you. Dreams of Gaia is so rad. Yeah, that's been a bit of a, that deck was in the wings for a very long time. So Bonefire Tarot, or the Bone Tarot, is that a different one? Druidcraft, which is tarot, which is where I learned everything. Same one. Cool. Fairies Oracle. Oh, I love the Fairies Oracle. If that's the proud one you're talking about anyway. Forever Has My Heart, that one. And the Arcana playing cards. I really like the Arcana playing cards. I just wish it was it was a full deck because the mages are just like so stunning. My favorite deck, where do I start? I can't. Jeez, that's so hard. I know Drewcraft, Morgan Greer. I love the writer. I love the writer. It's Wade Smith. Yeah, it's too hard. It's too hard. Like at the moment, like the Medicine Woman is like really pulling me. The Fifth Tarot is amazing. The Bonefire Tarot I've always had a crush on. The Star Child Tarot is amazing. Yeah, I'm a bit of a tarot ho. I like to work with many decks, and it does go in cycles. Magical Mummy, what I mean about the full deck is that the Arcana playing cards is more yeah, it's kind of hybrid playing card hybrid. It's a playing card deck rather than a tarot deck. So I just wish that all of the imagery was a tarot imagery. So that's what I wish. I know a lot of us have many decks. Yes, the pips, yeah. Okie dokie. Let's have a look at, so we've had a few people asking some questions. Okay, so Alicia, I don't know if you're here. Are you here, Alicia? Don't think so. Alicia asked in the event, she's really loving the book Tarot to Crossroads and its idea from a divination to representation. I love both methods and it might be worth discussing how to blend them into readings. Have I started reading it yet? Yes. I actually have leggings with tarot. I've got the black milk tarot leggings. Bitch can't fit into them anymore because she had a baby, but I should show you guys. So anyway, so does anyone else read, like, blend in tarot and psychology, tarot and counseling? Tell me a little bit about that from if anyone else wants to share. Tarot and psychology. So does anyone else want to have a chat about how they see that working? So maybe Jordan, are you volunteering? No, yes. Anyone want to jump in here and unmute themselves and start talking?
I've got it.
Okay, keep talking and it'll
Okay. So tarot and psychology. It's still something that I'm working with and delving into. Still a student of. But I've seen one of my really good friends and mentors. She's actually a hypnotherapist.
Oh, okay.
And she's been a mental health professional for years, and now she's letting her licensed practice go to focus on sacred practices. But I've just been having conversations with her about that, and a lot of it is, a lot of I lost the name. Oh, whatever. But psychological theories. Yeah, so if it comes to me, and this will be all right. There's the Myers-Briggs personality theories, along with the court cards, the big thing that I'm still delving into. But yeah, and also just tarot in sacred practice itself, looking at tarot through various sacred lenses, not just pagan, which is mine, but looking at tarot through a Buddhist lens, through, just varying lenses of theology.
So how do you find the blend of tarot and things like psychology, like Jungian archetypes? And
that's the one.
That's you again. So how do you find that actually helps or like enriches your experience with the tarot or the people that you read for?
Well, it definitely comes from just it deepens the perspective of on a different level. You can reach people on different levels. Some people really connect to spiritual sides of tarot, and some people don't. Some people really may connect more with the psychological aspect of tarot, and talking about the id, the ego, the superego, the subconscious, consciousness theory, those kinds of things. Some people may resonate more on that level. Like one of my best friends, she loves studying quantum physics and those kinds of things. So if I were to give a reading for her, and talk more about consciousness theory, and because she's a Christian witch, talk about Christ consciousness,
right?
How that relates to the Hierophant, the magician, those kinds of things, that really resonates with her. But some people, that may just totally go over their head.
Right. Cool. And what about, so thank you so much. You can pop into again at any time. What about is there anyone here who just like strictly doesn't touch the counseling, psychology, deeper aspect of the tarot, and it's just strictly like, bitch, I'm going to flip your cards, and I do it from a strict divination degree? Like, is there any, and the thing is, I feel like there can be a little bit of like, not shaming, but it's almost like there has been some conversations that I've seen in the community where it's like, if you don't do the deep stuff, and if you don't put a million elements and a million layers to your tarot practice, and you're not a real tarot practitioner, it's just like you should just go be a neon sign psychic. But like, is there anyone here, or have we all become quasi counselors? I just wanted to see what everyone's there's a neon sign psychic around the corner that I desperately want to go see. Squad goals. I want to be a neon sign tarot reader. Beth, since I only do it for myself, I can only apply it to psychology. Since my degree is in development, I try not to apply the cards to my friends' psychology when I'm reading for them. I think they all want counselling at heart, or tell them what to do. One just popped up in my neighbourhood. I so want to go. I don't want them to think. Cool. So I don't think there's anyone here who is someone wanting to chime in? No? Everyone's like, don't put the camera on me, Anthony, you horrible woman. Funny. I tried reading from got a blank stare. Nah, that happens. You're going to get a lot of blank stares in your life. So it seems like there's a lot of us on here who, most of us on here would say that we've used it for a lot of counseling, or a lot of like going in deeper and seeing what people's issues are and things like that. So if we're looking at that being the more kind of holistic point of view, and what a lot of us here do you guys still put the divination in? So how do you guys do timing? Or are you guys all chickening the fuck out because you're like, I don't want to be wrong? Like, come on guys, I'm challenging you here.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can, honey.
Okay, hi. So I just joined because I was having internet troubles. I am Sam. I don't know can everybody see me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, whatever. So just joined. I'm just kind of diving into what you were saying, and it was in regards to like how tarot is so kind of related to like how we kind of like is that kind of what we were discussing, or did it freeze?
It froze a little bit. Keep jumping in and out. So I was talking about how a lot of new readers tend to be more on the counseling side, looking more at like the developmental side of tarot, and the self-exploratory side of tarot. And do we still do the timing thing? Like, are we still diviners?
Totally. So am I still choppy, or?
You are a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I want to share my experience, but let me get the internet working.
Okay, cool. I'll come back to you, honey. Is there anybody else while Sam just gets her internet sorted who wants to talk about this at all? Like, how do they feel about that? Like, like in the 1920s, right? If you were in America, if you were into divination, like it was the thing. Like there were times in history where if you were a Madame Lenormand, or if you were a psychic, people really wanted to. And if you haven't seen Midnight in Paris, I think it's not Midnight in Paris, Midnight Moon something. Damn it, it's got sexy Colin Firth in it. It's really good. Anyway, and Emma Stone. Sorry, my typing is bad. Timing intimidates me so much. So is it because you're afraid of being wrong, or is it that you just got no idea about timing?
I do it. I still so hi, baby. I read just for my friends, so not professional at all. But I try to spread the readings out. So like if somebody asks me for a reading, like I won't read for them as a friend more than once a month at the most. Mostly because I totally will do the divination. I'll just tell them what I see. I literally tell them exactly what I see in the cards, and they get all freaked out because I am your physicist. So I have multiple science degrees. I don't do anything divination. Like I said, it's not my business. My career is engineering. And people are like, pull a card for me, which is the normal thing that they ask their friend, but I won't do it very often because then they're like, damn it, you're so right. And I'm like, no, the cards are right. I'm just telling you what the cards, but I don't shy away from it because why should I? Personally, because they're not paying me. I probably might be a little more shy if they were paying me just because I am like that, personally. But people that can do it for a living, I'm like, wow, that's awesome. Yeah. Anyway, so I try not to shy away from the divination, and I totally go for it, but I don't do it too often because then my friends are like, you're too freaky.
You're like, it just took you this long to figure that out.
I know, right? Where have you been? I've been freaky all my life, but okay, sure. Okay.
The penny dropped. Yes. So Sarah asked, is divination prediction for the future? So so we're talking about predictive tarot, which is something that I did I think it's like a 20-minute, half an hour lecture on at the Academy's, my tarot course, because it's something that it's really about getting a system in place that you're comfortable with, and then just like learning to hone, from my experience anyway, learning how to work with that one system, so that when cards come up, like the timing thing, you just know. It's exactly like the Lenormand, right? So we had someone mentioning how they just got a Lenormand deck, Lenormand, I'm saying it wrong, whatever, and how they want to work with that, because that's a much more divinatory system, and they all have timing immediately attached to it. So it's the same thing. When you learn that system, then you can do the divinatory aspect readings. Same thing with tarot. You just have to have that system in place. And then you're like, fuck it. If you're wrong, what's the worst thing that's going to happen anyway? You're wrong. You know how many times I've had readings from people that I still respect from this day that have been wrong? Oh, well.
If I may, my thing is that it all comes for me from intuition. I don't have a specific system in place, whether that's astrological based or however. And so if something intuitively comes to me from a reading, like I think that Reggie would be totally fine if I said this, but I was giving Reggie a reading today, and something came up in his reading just intuitively about, possible career things. And, he said then, he had gotten a reading from someone else who said that as well, as far as that divinatory meaning. And when I personally read for others, like I just kind of qualify that by saying, maybe.
Yeah.
When I get a reading once from someone, I can't remember her name to save my life, but she said, it looks like you actually, when I was actually about my tarot business, and she said, it looks like you can actually make, a decent amount of money from this. And then she immediately said, but I'm not God. So
hashtag, but I'm not God. I love that.
I don't know. Can you guys hear me at all? This is Leah.
Yeah, just keep talking,
Yeah.
honey. I'm gonna
Okay. No, I was just gonna say I just recently figured out or saw actually on the cheat sheet about the timing, and I've always been fascinated by it. And so what I did was just to kind of familiarize myself with it, I actually retroactively went back to some readings that I had written down just to see what it was, because obviously there's a couple different ways you can do it. So I'm still kind of playing around with that. So I'm really happy to hear you guys talking about it, because I just literally just like within the last like 7 days, I've been trying to go back and look. And then I have like one of my soul sisters, like my best friend. I'm always like, hey, can I try this out on you? And she's like, yeah, sure. And so I'm like, all right, from here on out, we're paying attention. We must be vigilant. Like we have to pay attention to the timing, make sure it's working. And but some of the things were really kind of spot on in terms of the season, definitely. So
awesome.
Anyway, I just thought I'd throw that in there. I'm happy to hear what everybody else's experiences are with that, because I'm just delving into that.
I think this is probably one of the reasons why, Leah, I'm so I kind of mentioned tarot journaling so much, like especially when talking about if you ever do a course with me, or we ever, even ever, like I've got a million journals. It's because that's really great when you can go back and look at your readings, afterwards and go, oh my gosh, like that actually happened. And then you can get a better feeling for rhythms in your life, like when certain things happen and the choices that you make, what's the most likely outcome. And then when certain cards come up, you're like, you kind of know, what's going around the corner. So that's a really, really good idea. Does anyone else want to, Cheryl, I've seen your question, hun, we'll circle back to that. Does anyone want to talk about that too, about how maybe they've worked with going back through their journals or... I do it too, Krista. I should journal more frequently, but I don't, because I'm usually working or I am taking care of my kid. Okay, so you can't help yourself. So Michael, you're saying you're inexperienced from this standpoint. So are you talking about your inexperience with journaling with the tarot? For me, it's like I just write down, what the reading was, and then I can go back and at least I've got a record of what was said for readings for myself. Oh, Jamie, I'm exactly like you, mate. You should see the notebooks. It's like I got a notebook for that, and sometimes I can't remember which one to put what note in, and it's really annoying. So how about we talk about let's see if someone...
quick add-on. If you...
Oh, hey, how you doing?
Good. I'm still pretty new since we started our workings together last August. But when I record my week ahead, I make sure to go back and specifically look, okay, today's card when I drew it last Sunday was this, and did this affect me? How did this affect me? Is it even affecting me at all? And I've noticed that when my energy is really off for the day, like I'm just really frustrating, having a bad day, my cards tend to just have no meaning. They're just all over the place. They're just super random. And when I take the time in the morning to give myself that 5 minutes of devotion, the cards actually mean something for the day.
Oh, interesting. And remembering too, guys and ladies and girls, and however you choose to, whatever, tarot babes, I'm just going to call you guys tarot babes, that it's all about intention, right? So as with anything, whether it's magical working, affirmations, prayers, the way that we walk through the world, it's intention. So if you're asking the cards a question, so this is how I would, if you want to start getting some like timing stuff for your tarot readings, just do your reading like normal. Lay out your cards. You could be talking about, what is the best way to lickety blah, blah, whatever. And then once you've laid that spread out and you've already had a good deep look at it, then reshuffle your cards and ask a specific timing question. Okay, so now you've really nailed it down. So you've kind of got the situation, what's going on up top, what's going on down the bottom, what's happened in the past. Then come back to the timing thing. Once all that other stuff is out of the way, shuffle the cards, hold that, because remember, we got to give our subconscious, our higher selves, whatever we link to, somewhere to focus, and ask the timing question then, and then pull one card. Don't confuse the shit out of yourself by pulling like 60 million cards. Pull one card and see then how you feel about that with timing, and then start there, and then you can go from kind of build it on from there. So I'm just all about getting like laser focused with the tarot, so when having no room for interpretation in regards to, was this the card that meant the timing, or is this the card that meant the timing? And the tarot is just like, haha, screwing with y'all. Like, it's like, I don't know. Like,
That's brilliant. Sorry, I just have to say that because I was thinking the same thing earlier when I was going back and looking at one of the spreads, and I'm like, well, which one do I look at? Like, which one is the timing? So you just take them, shuffle them, and pick one.
Just pick one. So once your cards are all laid out, keep your reading out on the table, and then refocus on your timing question in relation to that. So say it's a spread for work, and then you say, okay, so one is most likely this is going to happen, and then pick your timing there. Patricia, we've just been chatting about picking timing. So you can do methods. You can actually pick any method that fits with you. You can do intuitively. I mean, there are people who've written about it, and I have it at the certification course. I've got a big lecture on that and a cheat sheet that goes along with how to pick your timings with different cards. So it's really just about picking something that works for you. Sam, did you want to see if you could jump in now, see if that'll work? And then because we got a few questions.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Choppy, yay. Okay, so in regards to like counseling and tarot, I've found I jumped into it. I was so excited when I was a kid, and I was like in middle school, and I'm like, look at these fairy oracle cards I have, right? And so I'm like, doing readings for people, and that was one aspect of my life. And I get older, and as I've gotten older and older, I've learned that before I do any readings with anyone, I always have to give them a warning that this is going to get kind of intense for you. This might get a little gunky. I might hit some points that you're not going to like hearing, and it's going to kind of feel like a counseling session. And I have to give that warning beforehand. Because one, I just feel like I need to let them know where it might go, so that I'm prepared, right, for their response. Right. And then when I'm in a place where I'm kind of almost prepping for someone's response or their feelings or their experience, I'm already kind of in this counselor role because I'm having to think about them. Second, I've always experienced being people's counselor. They always come to me and open up and share things. I don't even have to ask questions, and they're just sharing. They feel so much better afterwards, and I'm like processing what's going through in them. And so I've just kind of found that tarot goes so well with me in that regard. It's just so natural that people open up. So if I'm doing their cards and I'm hitting these points and they're kind of feeling like, ooh, okay, they might feel more comfortable around me because I can do that with people. So that's that aspect. Sorry, I tried to make notes so I wouldn't get distracted. And another aspect of it is that I think sometimes tarot can get people to that point when they're so afraid of counselors and they're so afraid to go to that level. It can kind of be that opening door for them into the world of learning more about themselves and learning about their environments and their patterns.
Yeah, I definitely think that tarot, as far as the mystical quality of it and the kind of showman factor of it, can both play, against us because it can be taken not seriously, but can also play for us when they realize, how serious and how amazing it can be, because you can come from that different perspective because you're not quote unquote a therapist or a doctor, or I mean we are, but we don't have those specific titles that may seem frightening.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. And it also opens up, so it's opening up a psychological aspect of themselves. And I think also with the tarot, it always was like, ooh, you know, I don't have this in my culture. I don't have this at my home. My parents don't have this. I can't go, maybe it's too embarrassing to go to the library, or I guess it's not, the library, even the bookstore, to pick up my own tarot deck, right? So you're this person that will open this world to me. So it's that, I love how it's both of those aspects.
And there's also that implied message of we're not gonna talk about it because we don't know you and we don't know any of your fucking friends. So we're not gonna go run like down the road and be like, she told me this. Like, so there's that really good thing of just being this like the outsider who's got no clue, no bias. I couldn't care less if you choose door A and door B, as long as door A and B don't have like tigers behind them that are going to kill you. Like, I'm not invested in your life in a degree of like, I want you to go down one road because it's going to benefit me in some way.
Yeah.
So,
I always say, like, this is your journey, right? So this is the path you could take. This is the card that's for this future. If it's a past, present, future, this is the experience that you could have, right? But if you're not working on it, or if you're, this is the other way it could go. So this is really up to you. And that's what I always am like, this is the work, the journey you have to do at the end of the day.
Totally.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Just one more thing. Sorry.
Yeah.
I have some friends that know that I read tarot, and a person was like, oh, Quirky Beth, and she'll do tarot cards for you if you ask her. And it turned in kind of like a party trick whenever I'm having
I know that one.
House, like Moms and Wine, and it's like, do me. And I'm like, that's not really what the energy is for. And I have to set the boundaries. Like, to at one point where one of my friends was watching a cat while I was on vacation for Christmas and like played with my cards because she thought it was fun. And I was like, so I don't know, boundaries, man, boundaries.
You need to put like Ned Flanders sticky notes on everything.
Yeah.
Do not touch. Do not touch. Do not touch.
Yeah, it's for some people it's hard because you want to share, but you also don't want to turn it into a game.
Right, totally. So I wanted to circle around with Michael's question that he asked a while ago. Would you ever do a full spread in conjunction with timing? And I just kind of wanted to be like, because I'm a bit confused. Like,
I guess technically we do already, because we do year ahead spreads. So I guess that counts in that way.
Yeah,
maybe?
Yeah. I guess that is a way of yeah. That's a very good point. That's a good spread that is complete. Or you do like 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. I'm just trying to go through the questions. Do people replace cards that seriously make no fucking sense to the question asked, or am I cheating and need to think harder? Oh, juicy question. What do you guys all do when the court cards come up and you all hate them so much that you just like, oh, it didn't really happen. Oh, look, it's the lovers. Sexy time.
Well, so I'm the one that asked that, and I was, because it's actually not when I don't like the answer, it's when it really does not make any fucking sense to the question that was asked. Like, hey, am I gonna have a good day tomorrow? Oh, think about the grass. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's just.
But see, for me, that does make sense.
Oh, true. Okay.
Right, because that's that. If you got the let's think about your navel question card. Yeah. To me, it'd be like, well, it will if you choose to have a good day and you focus on the good stuff, which could be a belly button. So, like, I don't know, guys. Like, for me, I know that, and I'll open up to the floor because thank goodness we've got people talking tonight, because sometimes y'all are too quiet for me. I like him noisy. For me, if I throw cards and I'm confused and like nothing's coming, that is usually my spirit guides, my higher self saying you need to step away and come back to it later, even if it's for a client. Like, I tried to work yesterday so hard, and it's probably because there was a dead lady in the bathroom who there wasn't a real dead lady in the bathroom. I mean, like, my son told me there was a ghost in the bathroom. So that's probably why I didn't have such a great day with writing yesterday and doing client readings. And I tried. And then I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to come back to it. And today it was just like, it came super quick. So if I get really confused, I step away from the tarot deck and come back to it, because for me, I don't feel like there is any tarot card that wouldn't make sense. The universe is going to be like, just watch it. But what do you guys think about that?
I generally try to look at it from different perspectives. So if like my initial reaction is, what the fuck? Then I think, okay, what's the traditional meaning of this card? Okay, well then what's like a shadow meaning of this card? What does this mean from this perspective and this perspective? I just kind of go like a speed round and say, see if anything will hit intuitively. And if nothing does, then sometimes what I'll do is I'll just write it down in my BOS and come back to it later.
And this is no shaming you, by the way, Beth, at all.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
I totally only get what I want to get. That's how it is.
Girl, that's all of us. All of us are that way.
Okay, so I'm sorry, Lyra. Do you want to go ahead, Lyra? Go.
No, it's okay. You can go. Okay, I'll go. So you've muted yourself. All right, so let's do that. So for me, like if I am seeing a spread and I'm looking at it and literally my eyes are crossing, then and I'm getting nothing, like I'm looking at it and it has nothing to do, or if I pulled two cards and it has nothing to do with the question that I asked, first of all, I'll pull another card, usually because the answer is there if I put the three of them together. Or the four of them, or sometimes the five of them. Sometimes it takes 5 cards where I'm like, oh, okay. Other times, I'm looking at the card and or the spread, and I'm totally confused. And I say to myself, okay, what is it that I'm confused about? What is the thing that is totally confusing me? And then I'll get like, oh, well, I'm confused about such and such. And that will give me a question, and then I'll shuffle the deck and pull a card for that question.
So good. That's great. Yeah, I like that. So clarifying cards and then looking at where the confusion is and then expanding on that. Exactly. So good.
I love that too. I'm just going to chime in because I've just allowed myself recently to pull clarifying cards because I was sitting there beating myself up going, well, I can't get it. And then I was like, wait a minute. I could pull another card. I could actually do that. It's so helpful, I think, to be able to do that. But I had an experience one time where one of my girlfriends had asked me to pull a reading for her, and I did, and I looked at it and I was like, I don't know whose these are for, but this reading is not for this person. I felt like I actually pulled a reading for another person who I didn't know who it was. So I don't know if that's ever happened to anybody as well. But then in that case, I was like, okay, let me just put them down. I actually went and I put them, I saged them, and then I put crystals on them, and I was like, let me come back to this later. But I was curious if anybody that had ever happened to, where you just finally were like, this, I don't know who this is for. Let me put these away for a minute.
You need to do like one of those cheesy TV psychics. Is anyone out there got someone passed? Anyone? Because I've had that. I've had 2 girls come in for a reading at a charity event, and it was clear as day that this was a girl who was a dancer. She was applying to a dance school, and this girl was just giving me the like, what the fuck are you talking about stares the entire time? And I was like, okay, well, I'm seeing it super clear. And then the girl sitting next to her best friend was like, oh yeah, I'm a ballet dancer and I'm applying. I'm like, why did you fucking say something? Like, right. It happens to us all the time. I'm sure like there's many of us who've had things like that.
Okay, well that makes me feel a little better too. So good stuff.
I love, I'm going to assume that a lot of people have seen the True Blood series. Lafayette is like, I'm not Gmail for dead bitches. It's the same. It's like, I ain't psychic Gmail dead bitches. Like, seriously. Help me out here, guys. So, yeah, you're not alone in that.
I'll jump in.
Hey, we have the instigator, everybody.
Yeah, I'm done stuffing my face. I didn't subject anybody to it. I turned my video off. But I think it's kind of a cool thing to mix it up a little bit and do the clarifying cards with Oracle as well.
Totally.
I have, just to clarify, I said the Fairies Oracle before. It's the one by Brian Froud. I'm like a Brian. I have like all of his.
I think you're alone in this group with that, by the way, Michael.
Yeah, but yeah, it's interesting when you do a spread for yourself, and that's really all I do at this point. I don't do readings other than the first attempt with my mother, which probably wasn't the best first attempt, but
ain't no shame.
But yeah, interesting to look at the tarot cards and then pull out an oracle, which has a different energy to it, and see how they mesh together. I wanted to see if anybody had an experience like that.
Where they didn't mesh?
Where they, just in general, if any of you, pull clarifying cards with, or just supporting cards with oracle after you do a tarot reading.
I do it all the time. If anyone's ever had a reading from me on this call, I do it all the time. I will usually close out my readings with an oracle card, just to have a nice closing energy to it. And that was the way I was taught. My teacher did that, and I was like, oh, I like that. Sometimes you can do it at the beginning to bring a client in, especially if they're feeling a little bit rushed or hectic, or they're just like a little bit out of their bodies. You can do it to just sort of center them a little bit. But I am all for using oracle cards as well as tarot for show.
Yeah, I do the same thing too. I pull oracle cards to clarify, and it's cool because I think, sometimes I have my whole box. Hold on, let me see. It's like literally next to me. I have this whole giant box here of all my tarot
porn.
Yeah, totally. And it sits on my desk right next to me, and I just know when I'm doing a tarot card reading all of a sudden that I should be pulling an oracle card, and I know which deck to pull from too. How do I know it? I don't know. I just do. It's the weirdest thing. I still can't get over how weird that is to me. But anyway, I pull them, and it's great because they are two sort of like gateway cards too, because it's sort of like the foyer, when you invite somebody into your house for the first time and everyone's sitting in the foyer chit-chatting about, I don't know, whatever. And it's like this nice way for them to just enter in. And that's cool what you said about closing out readings. I don't usually do that, but I think that's really cool. And I think I might start.
Awesome sauce.
Word.
You know what, guys? I have a feeling that if we all got into the same room, we would probably be talking until 5 o'clock in the morning, and everyone's like, "Shit, man! Everyone's gone home. They've locked us in here." So Ashley mentioned, how do you deal with not getting something and pulling a blank or pulling for the wrong? I think this is what you were saying, Ashley. Pulling for the wrong person or getting information that is not resonating with them at all. If you're sitting with a client, Ashley, if you're still on here, can you just holler out that I've got that right? Yeah. So how do you do? I'm going to just tell you about what I would do and what I do from a client's perspective. And then I'll let some others chime in. Holy crap, there's a lot of chat here. Okay, so if it's face-to-face, I've said, and people have just been like, if you're getting someone who looks like nothing, like a deer in the headlights, nothing is sinking in, there's no shame in stopping the reading midway through, whether it's Skype or face-to-face, and just saying, is any of this resonating with you? Is any of this kind of vibing with you? Are you understanding any of this? And if they say yes, it could just be that they're thinking and their resting processing face isn't like, oh yeah, cool. So that's cool to check that in. And if they say no, then you can do one or two things. And I would be just totally upfront, because I'm, if you hadn't noticed, pretty blunt. Say, cool, well, we've got options here. Either I can keep going, or we can close this out and I'd be happy to give your money back. Because that's just why bother? Why feel like you're pulling nails? It's not a pleasant experience for you. You're probably going to feel like shit for the next reading. I would just be like, you know what, if none of this is jamming with you, maybe it's not the right time, it's not the right day, we're not asking the right questions. How about we close it out and I'll give you money back, and we can try this another day. And I've even had to, so far as shut a reading down and say, alrighty, we're done. Like, this is not like just because of the person's feedback, right? Like, this was very rare, but I'm just super upfront. There's no shame in it, guys. We are all human. We've all been to a professional of some sort that is fucked up or screwed up. You know, there's a bus driver who hits a car. There's a doctor who, misdiagnoses something. It's the same thing. No professional is 100% correct and accurate at all times. So don't be afraid to own that, this is all through experience and that sometimes we're not right.
Yeah, it definitely takes like a lot of humility and strength to be able to say, you know what, because essentially, in essence, you're letting the reading go, and you have to acknowledge that, yes, this is the right decision for me and the client, and just say, I'm done, you're done, we're good, have a nice day.
Yeah.
Because it takes a lot to kind of, and that's just something I've been working on personally a lot, is just being able to say it's okay to let something go, to give up on something that isn't working and isn't serving you, because then you're just wasting your time and energy.
Totally. And they're going to respect you a ton more, right? Because we've all heard the horror stories of people who've gone to readers who do the whole, your cast, or have spun them total bullshit. And if we want to, elevate our craft and elevate our standing as like modern day mystics, oracles, counselors, healers, whatever we are, then we need to be as honest with ourselves when we fuck up, or honest with ourselves when it's not going right. And as Jordan said, just kind of like bite the bullet and just go, you know what? It's cool, bro. We're done. And Brie, yes, I am going to post this recording somewhere. I'm thinking, I don't know where. It's going to be available somewhere.
I wanted to add, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to add in regards to like creativity and intuition. We're all artists, right? Like in our own way. And when you are in that creative flow, it's like it's working through you. And you just have to make this thing, or it's just coming out of you. And so sometimes it dries up and we have to just like take a break.
Totally.
So that's what I've learned with intuition and with reading cards, is like sometimes I do a reading for like the new moon or the full moon, at a time that I really want to do my reading. And I do everything, and I do the cards and I read them, and I'm like,
yes. I remember I told Chelsea Smith posted her full moon reading.
Oh, I love.
And then I was like, I did it with a friend of mine, and then the next day I was like, I have to do this again, because I feel like I didn't get enough out of it last time. And then it was perfect. It was like everything that I needed. And so definitely comes that sense of humility and honesty with yourself. Yeah. I think my initial reaction, just professionally, sorry, I'm totally stepping on your toes, Sam. But is like, you want to make up an excuse for it. You want to have like this justification, but you don't really need that. You can just be honest and say, yeah, this wasn't really vibing, and that's fine.
Yeah.
And I've found that like people really respect that response.
Absolutely. And I think, okay, so I'm going to share with you, I have never done any readings for pay. I do everything just to my friends and family. And I'm getting into that place where I'm more comfortable to do readings for pay. And that is what I'm so afraid of. And I'm so glad that we're talking about this. And that's what's kept me away from going. And I've had a store say, hey, we have Fridays open. Come on down, do readings for pay. And I'm like, but what if they're wrong? You know what I mean?
You can do it. I believe in you. I believe in you.
I believe in you.
Absolutely. Why constrain your intuition? Like, why constrain the messages that you can share if only like some of them may be wrong? Okay, that's fine.
Part of that too, Sam, just to jump in there around people's anxiety about reading for other people, is manage. This is all about, like, I love this because this brings in my HR project management background, and I get all like, wee! Manage people's expectations up front.
Yes.
So when you sit with them, you say, hey, I'm an intuitive reader. Okay, so this is how I work. This is how I view the tarot. This is how I interact with the cards and how I'm going to interact with you. So if this feels like it's a really good fit, cool, let's sit down and do this. Here's the other thing. Accuracy in regards to intuitive tarot, I'm not a diviner per se. If I do get something intuitively in regards to timing, I will pass that along to you. So if you can manage people's expectations up front, you're taking the pressure off yourself. You're giving yourself permission to be the reader you want to be and not what other people want or expect from you. And you're just like, the space is clear. It's like when you're dating multiple people at a time, just let everyone freaking know. Like, it's like, you ain't going to excuse a bitch up in here. Sorry. Like, it's just, as long as you manage expectations, then you'll find that a lot of that anxiety just goes away.
Amen. Amen. Yes, yes.
By the way, Sam, I wasn't laughing at you. Like when you were talking before, if you saw my face, Vanessa put a line from Lafayette going, "Why ghosts so cryptic? It ain't cute." And I was laughing at that because I remember that episode. So I wasn't giggling at you talking
It's
about.
very true.
I wasn't laughing about your intuitive.
I'm not driven.
Sam, I love everything that you just said, because I feel like I'm kind of in the same place as you right now too, where I've had like, I tan. Don't judge, but the place where I go, the girls, like I'll read for a couple of the girls there because they get it, and it's just something that I do for them. But they're like, "You should come on Tuesdays," and I'm like, "But what if I'm wrong?" Just when you said, "What if I'm wrong?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" It's a good conversation to have. I'm glad to hear other people feeling the same way.
So Ashley asked a follow-up question. I like this. You're getting things moving. Has anyone ever freaked out if you did that when you like pause it? I think a bunch of people have been maybe a bit taken back that someone would be like that honest with them. And I'm really hard to insult or offend. I'm Australian. I think we're probably one of the hardest people on the planet to insult. We're like, whatever, mate. We just keep on going. So I've never really had anyone kind of go, "Oh, well, you're a fraud," or whatever. But even if they did, I'm like Rebel Wilson. I don't know if anyone's ever watched Pitch Perfect 2, where she's like, "I've got confidence. You want some confidence?" And rub it off on you. Like, it's just like, just bounces off. But I've had more people respect me for doing that than freaking out, over stuff. I hope that's what you were talking about anyway. By the way, don't tease me about the wine tasting and tarot talk over your house, because I won't be there. Heather was saying about how some people are just totally closed off and you can't read them no matter what. Totally. Okay, so if that's another part of client interaction, and something that you're going to get a lot if any of you do readings at fairs or shops and things like that, because of the stigmata, expectation, the way that we're portrayed in the media and in pop culture. That, I've had people sit down and just do this. And it's like, dance, monkey, dance. Like, tell me, like, show me what you're kind of made of. And again, if you can manage your expectation up front about how you work, that'll certainly either allow them to open up. But if someone's closed off and you can't read them no matter what, that's more about them than it is about you. It's like a walk on by. So just realizing that there's clearly some things going on there, and you can choose, because it's always a choice. You can choose to be Thor's hammer and try to break that down in that session if you want to, or you can just choose to make them aware of it and say, "Hey, are we cool? Like, is everything okay here? Like, are you uncomfortable? Do you need me to crack a joke? Do you need a cup of tea?" Like, try and like lighten the mood and get them to be a little bit aware, because some people don't even realize they carry that energy either. They've just been yelled at by their boss, or their kids, just like spilt crap all over the floor. You have no idea what your client has had in their life leading up to the moment they sit in front of you. So sometimes it's just like chilling out and just going, "Hey, is everything okay? Like, is there anything I can do to make you more comfortable? I'm not scary, I'm going to bite you." Can kind of shift the mood a little bit.
Yeah, I think on the other side of that is like sometimes, being readers, sometimes we don't know what it's like to be, read from the perspective of not reading at all. And so, definitely with the fairs thing, I did something at my undergrad. And, you know, a lot of the people that would sit down and just grab a 3-card reading real quick would just, and so, but afterwards they would like really, you know, say, oh yeah, that was great, blah, 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 blah. But a lot of times, you know, I think what I experience personally is that a lot of people are just taking everything in, especially if it is a new experience to them. So I just say, you know, does that make sense? Does that resonate? Just to get some response out of it, to break out of that, I'm taking this in, and I, like a television, just breaking this trance of,
Quick question. What is the shortest amount of time you would dedicate to a reading? I'm interested because I know in terms of, you know, going through a reading really fast and covering what you need to cover with that reading, what's the shortest amount of time you'd go?
With fairs or with like face to face, the shortest that I was usually have. Well, I used to do 20 minutes or 10 minutes as well if it was like a very busy fair. The place that I worked at was 30 minutes minimum. But, you know, like sometimes with people, it comes really quick. Or even if someone ordered a 1-question reading from me from my website, like literally sometimes I'll throw the cards and the first 3 cards you just fucking answered it. So it's just like, well, you paid for the question and I'm going to tell you the answer, and then I'm going to go into like the steps behind like why that may be so and how you can help it move forward. But I'm also not going to maybe like fluff someone just to like hear the sound of my own voice for 30 minutes. You know, so I don't know. That's a bit of one that you kind of have to go with. I mean, if someone wants that space, because sometimes people come to us, sometimes, you know what I mean, come to for that space too. So as much as if you've answered your question, sometimes it's like invite them to talk, invite them to kind of have an experience in that space, because sometimes people just need time to chill out and just talk to someone who's not their boss, their friend, their lover, their whatever.
Okay.
You got to feel comfortable too, right? Yeah.
And then, you know, there are a couple different styles too, where, you know, some people will go to a reading and they're basically being talked at the whole time, and then, you know, I would imagine you have more of an interactive.
Oh my gosh, one of the worst readings I ever received was from one of those neon sign psychics, and she was just talking at me the whole time, and she was just like throwing cards. I think she actually went through the entire deck. And she was like, you know, you used to do a meditative practice. Why don't you do that anymore? You've been having some pain in your stomach. What's that about? I was just like, Jesus Christ, woman. It was like being shot with a machine gun. Just like I was put under fire. I was like, okay, this was not worth this money.
Stop assaulting me.
Yeah, right.
I want to go to her.
She was in New York. I can't remember the street. Around like 27th Street on 8th Avenue. If you're ever there.
It's hilarious. You can't do short readings, yeah. And if you can't do them, don't do them. If that's not your thing, then yeah, just like, I mean, I coach a lot of people and I had many students. I'm very, very blessed to have done that. I say to people, like, give yourself fucking permission to do the readings you want. Give yourself permission to have the clients that you want and have the business that you want. If you want to do all a deep, friggin' solely reflective, let's talk about your bullshit and no one hugged you when you were a kid stuff, then do that. Like, own that, do that, and do it really fucking well. Don't try to like do a million things and do a little shit. Right? You don't have to be a jack of all trades. As someone said in the chat here, there's a reader for everyone and everyone a reader. My gosh, there's so many messages on the chat.
All right, my phone's dying, so I'm going to roll out.
Bye.
But it's been glorious.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. So does anyone else, I mean, we're about to have our hour up anyway. Oh my God, that went so quick. Super quick. So clearly we need to do this more often. Hey, everybody. That would too. We can keep talking. My kid will be coming through the door quite quickly. But no, it's been amazing to have everyone chatting about the tarot. Does anyone have any questions they want to close out with, or does anyone want to ask anything or share anything or? Oh, sorry. Is that anyone or?
Okay.
Oh, talk.
Okay, am I unmuted? No.
Yeah, you're unmuted now.
Okay, I wanted to talk about when I am doing a read, when I'm like, okay, when I'm reading for someone, so far it's always been friends and family, right? And so it's like I need to create kind of like a tarot profile of them. So I will do a animal card, I'll do a crystal oracle card, I'll do a goddess card. I won't do it all at once. But like just like maybe once a year or maybe just once in that entire friendship with that person or relationship with that person. So that's a way that I incorporate the oracle cards to understand what is like the energy surrounding that person, or what are the guides that they're currently working with, or just kind of to get like a more of a profile of what's going on versus just the tarot.
I do that a lot too. Yeah, I do that a lot too, especially with my my Aura-Soma soul purpose readings. I do that all the time. I've you know, what is the chakra that may need cleansing or may need work, and what aspect of that chakra needs clearing or is being affected at the moment. What animal guide could they work with the best to try and shift some of this energy to? So yeah, totally. And I used to do a ton of grid readings, but I took them off my shop. But yeah, that's definitely, and then that's awesome that we got like this conversation around doing different kind of profiling with the tarot as well. You do energy healing and use tarot with it. That's amazing. We should definitely talk about that more. In the next one, yes, we are doing this again, and there's going to be a bunch of tarot. We're going to do some tarot jams. Like, I'm going to do them throughout the year because I think it's really cool. But there's also in March, I haven't set the time yet because I don't know if I'm going to be traveling in April, but I'm going to be doing a live tarot reader certification. And everyone who's already in it's going to get to come on it for free. So we're going to do 8 weeks of live calls like this, just in a more intimate group as well. And then everyone gets access to all of the content, and there's a shit ton of it. So it's going to be really, really fun. Alicia, did you talk about the representation versus divination? Oh, did we not? I don't know did we? Alicia, can you unmute? Can you talk?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I missed the first 20 minutes because I thought it was actually happening tomorrow. And, and I missed so much because all my kids are like, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh. So, so you just said that you're doing an 8-week course. It starts in March.
It'll be starting in March. So we're going to be doing it live, which is the first time I'm ever offering it live. And we're going to go through every week. So we're going to be talking a lot about timing and talking about a lot of ways of using the tarot and a lot of ways of viewing things like the court cards and all sorts of fun stuff.
Okay.
Like chatting as well, and building, and you'll have my time. But we did talk a little bit about, we did actually talk about divination and psychology and things like that. But please, if there is something that you want to chat about next time, totally point it out, earmark it, and let us know for the next tarot jam as well, because
because I've actually been doing some of the representation with my life coaching, and I have found that my person like really, and it's kind of like an art therapy is what I kind of like felt like it was doing, and it was really neat, like how you can dive into like a different side of tarot, and like it's them pulling the cards in the essence, so, and they can see it beforehand. So I don't know, it's different strokes for different folks, but I really liked that approach. I like both ways, though. I'm partial to divination, but I did like the idea of the representation. So,
right, and I'm the same, right? Like I came from a pretty divinatory background. I started reading the tarot when the books on shadow work, healing your heart, fucking that they just were not around. It was like when you got the magician, it meant this, and when you got this, it meant that, and there is no left, right, and center. So I'm the same way. But then
it's a real cool take.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I will watch the recording because I'm sure I missed a great deal of the first 20 minutes.
Awesome.
Are you guys, can you hear me?
Yep.
At all? Okay. All right. I just wanted to ask a quick question. Does anybody feel really tired after they do a lot of readings? Like, is it just exhausting? Okay, because I can't understand how people can power through, a full day at a psychic fair and be just so jumpy after they do it and ecstatic. And gosh, they wear me out so much.
We are running on nerves, my friend. We are running on great nerves.
Okay.
No, that was kind of a joke. It is exhausting. Look, here's the thing though. I think we can sometimes, like you can do all the cleansing, you can have all the fucking all the crystals and all the protection and all that sort of stuff. But let me ask you this question. If you were a nurse, if you were working at freaking Starbucks, if you were doing your job, you were a teacher, you're a mom for God's sake, and you were doing something for 10 hours straight, you're going to be tired no matter what it is, unless it's sleeping, right? So I think there's this stigma around if you're tired after 4-day readings, you're doing it wrong. It's like, no, actually, you've just been working.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be tired. So, what I used to do with fairs was, I've got actually a blog post about that, how to manage your time at fairs, is check yourself out early. Make sure you take a break, like demand that you have a break. Walk it off, shake it off, go outside, hug a tree for a minute. I used to get these really amazing vegan brownies and they would like pick me right up. Make sure you are giving yourself the sugar and the protein, the potassium and the magnesium to keep going. But you are going to be tired at the end of the day. I used to do fairs where they would want you for 3 days solid, and I'd be like, "Are you freaking kidding me? Like, do you want me to be in a pool in the corner crying? Like, don't come and book with me." Like, that is too much work. Too much work. So don't get hard on yourself if you're feeling exhausted. Give yourself recovery time. Do what you can. Cleanse. Have a shower. Sprays and you saging and all that. But then just put your slippers on and watch your favorite damn show on Netflix. Seriously. And order in, for the heaven forbid, do not go cook. Just have a bath and order in pasta or Chinese food.
Yeah, right. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're doing it right, honey. You just got to give yourself permission to put boundaries in, and then be kind to yourself after you've worked all day.
I wanted to say another reason why I haven't started doing paid readings is because I wanted to make sure that I was ready to make those kinds of boundaries and hold true to them. Because the kind of healing nurturer that I am, I'll just give and give and give and give and give and give and give. And right, with artists and creativity, once that cup is empty, it's empty. And me needing to know this is what the cup feels like when it's empty. This is me knowing that I'm ready to stop now. Having that understanding and then being able to verbalize it. No, sorry, can't do any more. That's it. And then knowing what are the things to help me feel better? What are the things to uplift me and get me back to being able to do readings? But I'm right there with you. There's only so many that I can do because it's also just a lot of mental power and you need to feed yourself and ground yourself.
Totally.
Yep. I mean, I've paid for readings before, and the tarot reader has messaged me and said, "I'm sorry, I can't do the reading tonight like I had expected. I'm sick. I just don't."
Was that for me? Because I've sent that out before.
No, but don't worry. I'm exhausted, and is that okay? And it's like, oh my God, yes, it's okay. Just go, do whatever it is you need to do. I'm still here, and the problem is going to still be here tomorrow. Don't worry about it. That's so important to do.
Yeah, and I've sent out those emails. I've just gone, when I opened up the 2017 year ahead ones, oh my God, I wanted to cry. It was amazing. I was like, thank you so much for the prosperity. Then the second thought behind my head was like, how the fuck am I going to get all these readings done? So it's just, and then it's closing it out or managing it. yeah, you know, we got to get better at, as givers, healers, mystics, all that is just like self-care. You totally, and then live real life after that and like have the energy to like run around up to my 2.5-year-old. Mommy's on the floor, feed mommy pizza. Like, that ain't cool. Like, you can't do that. Right. And like Heather's saying, you know, she's got to work around her chronic fatigue. Many of us have to work around lots of things, you know, so whether we have mental illness spikes or anxiety or pressure at work or relationships that don't understand what we do, like it's really, really hard to be on all the time, for sure. All right, guys, I think we're going to jump off now because we really could talk all night on this. And as much as I would love to, I have got a book to write. So I'm going to schedule the next one, and I'll let everyone know when the live round is going to open up because it's going to be so much fucking fun. And I'll let you guys also know when this gets up. So thank you so much for joining. I had so much fun, and I can't wait to see you guys on our next jam. And have an amazing evening, everybody.